When it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes. I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
A very pleasant good day to you, and welcome to the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton, Alberta. It's the Saville Prix here on Curling State. I'm Dave Schmell, and I'm happy to bring you all the action this morning. This is the opening draw, and we're in pool play. And we have James Ballance versus Korey Dropkin. James out of Edmonton, Alberta, and Korey out of Duluth, Minnesota. It will be Ballance with the red stones and Dropkin with the yellow stones. And there's Ballance with the hammer here in the first end. And right off the bat, that was not Mark Fenner throwing down. That really appeared to be Lance Wheeler. So we'll double check the lineup for Team Dropkin. Two guards up, a center for Ballance, a corner for Dropkin. After they get moved around. Now here's Tom Howell throwing second. And I am virtually certain that Lance Wheeler is throwing lead. Always fun in the opening draw. We had to figure out who's playing on a particular week. Teams obviously have flexibility in this being a cash spiel as opposed to their set quote unquote national teams. Now, this team Ballance plays as a 5-man team as well. So we'll have to make sure that we're 100% on point on who's throwing what. This is listed as being Nathan Kelba. So that was last name in that shirt said Nogler. Early going here from Saville. So here, Corey calling for board weight here. It's on the way from Tom. Now Andrew Stapera is going to sweep it over just a touch. Gets up to the nose, and they nicely clear the stone in the back. So does Dropkin sitting two. Going to see the attempt to slash things off here. This one needs to hurry if it's going to make the double. It's going to be really close even to the guard. And you just squeeze by, but you are going to leave that Dropkin rock still under cover. So that got up on them a little bit quickly there. Now you see, I'm going to ask Andrew here to take off this center guard and roll underneath the corner. All these players have played together for a very long time. Estapero will make the hit and only move it over just a skosh, and that rock does now appear to be biting the top 12. So should Ballance want to take it on, could dig out that stone. That's right there. Or a little bit of a safer roll here is to do the double peel. Now it's all a matter of how aggressive do you want to be in the early going. And it's no surprise here that in the first draw of the spiel that he's electing to play the little bit of the safer route here and make sure Dropkin can't get too crazy on him here. On this one, hard to hold it. Bang, bang, and make them all move. And can Dropkin get it all the way out the back? Yes, he can. Fantastic shot by Cornelson. That leaves a hit and a long roll. A very specific spot. Same board weight. Almost feel like you want to touch more here. Line's really good. Shot well thrown there by Nogler. So we're still going to try to get a lineup on Ballance's team. But the stone from Stupera did roll under cover. The shot's on the way. And try to get them all out. And Ballance just gets the one there. So Korey Dropkin's going to look to split the rings here. Is indeed Dropkin with hammer here in the first 10. And the stone's away from Korey. So it looks like the deuce is pretty well in order here. Ballance is going to hope to hit and stick here. Looks pretty good to stay on line. Might roll out. Drifts towards the center. Now it's Korey Dropkin. The final stone here in the first in. Needs to get to this one and needs to hang on. Gonna tick it out and just hold on for Deuce. Great job by the Brushers there. Put 2 on the board for Korey Dropkin. It's 2-0 after 1 here from Saville. We'll be back after this. You're watching Curling Stadium. And this game is first to pool play. There are 5 teams in this pool today. We have Team Ballance, Team Dunbar, Team Van Amsterdam. Takumi Maeda also finds himself in this pool, along with Korey Dropkin. They'll all play the pool play. And then move on to the championship brackets based on that. So now to lead off the second end, it'll be Lance Wheeler for Team Dropkin. Now, Lance usually plays with Scott Dunham. He plays with Team Scott Dunham on his competitive team. Lance hails from the Denver, Colorado area and joins the Dunham rink, which is based mostly in the Philadelphia area, out of the Philadelphia Curling Club and the Bucks County Curling Club, and the Potomac Curling Club in the case of Andy Dunham. This stone from Wheeler. Gonna come up and it's gonna just grab a piece of that center line. We do, of course, play the no tick rule, which means that stone cannot be removed off the center line until the 6th rock of the end. So as has become the norm anymore, you see Ballance draw one in. Weight looks pretty good in this. It has some room to curl. Finish it up and get it right down to the top of the 4-foot, dead under cover. That's a nice toss by Chris Pratt. Gonna ask Lance to follow that down from the other turn. Lance Wheeler is one of the better brushers on the U.S. side. We'll get to see that during the course of the game. Pretty tall, stands about 6'3". And gets just about every bit of his frame onto the broom. So that one comes on down, gets a little love tap on the Ballance stone, so it's going to give him some room to work with for Chris Pratt. That comes up a little bit later than they liked, and now does give room for Tom Howe to wrap all the way around here. Wouldn't mind if they tap it, you hear Korey saying. So now Tom Howe with his first of the second end. It is a 2-0 lead for Team Dropkin here in the early going. This one's got to go. Telling Andrew to get into it. And they will shimmy it just past that guard, but just they really wish that was a little bit deeper. That peel off is successful there. So now a little bit of a mess there. You see the Ballance stone well under cover. Two stones that are in front of it for Team Dropkin, but not necessarily on the best angles. So maybe if we take another quick look over the top, we'll see that he's going to look to run it back. Now, if you hit every ounce of what you see there, you can probably get to shot rock. So that's a good look at that angle there. Stone's on the way here. See if that task can be accomplished. Needs to hold it. Needs to hold it. Bang, bang. A nice shot by Tom Howe. Well brushed by Stepera and Wheeler. Fantastic. And they lie 3 to put the pressure on. So I'm going to look to clear things out, sensing they're in a little bit of trouble here. Saying it's a little bit quiet. Working hard to keep it moving. It's got to hold that line. Curling up, it's going to grab theirs. Get just a little piece of the Dropkin stone. And still leaves Dropkin line 1-2. Here's Stepera with his first. His second, rather. Trying to hold it to get to this stone just delivered, and they just get it by. Another big brush saving Andrew Stepera there. And keeping this end in a good spot. Little smiles there. It's almost like Korey's saying, listen, Lance, we rented you for the week and we're going to ride you hard and put you away wet. Does potentially leave there's a slash double here, and you want to take it on. The angles might actually go for a triple takeout, but getting ready to is a good start here. So Adam Nogler does indeed hit the right angle to make the triple, but ends up leaving the Dropkin stone dead buried. So you see Korey thinking to go top 8 foot there. That's not a bad option because it would prevent Ballance from being able to use that stone against him. So here's Andrew Stupera. Here, the weight call 3-4 does look to be just a touch lighter than that. Now they keep it moving. Dig it in. Now drive it under there. Cut off that angle. You may have left enough to make a play on these here. Now, if you're looking at it there in the overhead, looks like I can, from the hack, you can see a good half a rock of that. So you can slash into the one there that was just thrown by Stupera and fire it into the 2 on the button. You'll get at least 2 going if you hit these hard. It is a real possibility to get more than that. So you're going to try to make some hay right down the middle. They move. They get a couple going. Still Dropkin sitting 2 right now. If you're going to play that shot you just threw, you really need to end up with the center a little bit more open than you just left it there. So can't say that you're entirely happy with that outcome. Would have left yourself for sure both turns in the draw playing the other shot by playing directly under the yellow. So it's a interesting setup here. Dropkin sensing some opportunity is going to try to cover things up here. Now you do have to be careful because you don't have last stone here. Your opponent has a couple in the ring, so both of yours are pretty even. So line 3 here is not a bad idea. If you could ever come all the way down to the 1 on the button and corner it, might take away the end from Ballance. So here's Korey Dropkin with his first stone in the second end. The line's fantastic on this. It's all about the weight. Ow, bringing it down. Not a bad spot, but it does leave that double takeout available. Need to be just a little bit further down, I want to say, but Dropkin line 2 at the moment. This will be a big shot here. So you throw this nice and firm. Hit it just off the nose. And bang, bang, you should lie 2 by the time you're all done. James Ballance from Okotoks, Edmonton. Big extension on this one. Brought it in a little bit. Had to work really hard to hold the angle. Bang, bang. Out the side door, and you lose your shooter. It is them sitting the shot stone, but Korey Dropkin sitting second. Just looked to me that when he delivered that stone, the positive extension just pinched it in just a hair. You'll be able to keep track of all the events all weekend long here on Curling Stadium, both from here and also the Pan American Grand Prix. We have the scores for that. You can look at all of it right on curlingzone.com. Links to all the streaming games are available right there on our website as well. Just click the little YouTube things. And speaking about YouTube, while you're there, take a second to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. It helps us out quite a bit, allows us to bring you even more curling from more places every week. Now here's Dropkin with his final, the second. This is losing the line fast. Got to hurry to get to the yellow. Gonna ricochet here and not sit shot. So there's a draw for 2 available. The question is, can you make this for 3? That is a tough question, because if you come on down, you got to hit it just there, because if you get too much of the yellow on the outside, you end up kicking your red out in the process and jamming the Dropkin rock in. So this is a shot for 3, or good chance of giving up a steal if you don't make it. James Ballance looking to make some hay while the sun is shining and get a 3 here in the second. You have to catch just on the broom side of the back rock. And 1 and 2 should go, and you'll have 3. Final stone, the second end. Got a hold of the line. Looks pretty good. Now work it over just a touch. You get one, you get two. No, you don't. And you end up with that steal. It had to come up a lot more, and that was the risk of making that shot. So it's a steal of one for Dropkin. He has a 3-0 advantage. After two, here from the Saville Grand Prix on Curling Stadium.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
And welcome back to the Saville Community Sports Center. Here in Edmonton, Alberta, it's the Saville Grand Prix on Curling Stadium. I'm Dave. Thank you for joining us this day. Wherever you are, we hope you're having a good day, and we thank you so much for being with us. It was a steal of one for Korey Dropkin. In the third end, James Ballance was line one, had the opportunity to draw to the 4'4" deuce, elected instead to play a medium to fair difficulty double takeout, and instead gave up the steal to Dropkin. So finds himself a bit of a hole here in the early going. There's 16 teams in this event, 4 pools. We have 2 in the rings for Dropkin. Now Ballance is trying to set up a guard. First guard attempt was no good. Now Dropkin will elect for a tight stone of his own. It'll be Tom Howell to throw it. Tom Howell generally throws lead on this team. Mark Fenner still is battling a hip injury, so Lance Wheeler from Team Dunham is joining him. Ballance on his team with Scott Dunham. They qualified for U.S. Nationals just the other week with their runner-up finish in the St. Paul Cash Spiel. So their spot in that field is secure. Always feels good to get that out of the way. Gonna try to play this delicate shot around the guard, use some of the cover. This is over curling. This is going to be on the guard all day. Gonna raise it in. Does split it off. Will the Dropkin stone stay on? Can they spin it back? No is the answer, but it does leave Dropkin line 2. That was Adam Nogler on that. And Dropkin goes a rip set. Don't think he wants to catch his own on the way by there. That's going to give Ballance the opportunity to blank if he so desires. And the broom will indeed go down for the hit. So as I mentioned, there are 16 teams in this event. The purse is $25,000. As we start to progress back and forth here, and what appears it might settle out to be a blank end. Andrew Shapiro will be next up on the takeout duty. Nice shot there. And up and down we continue to go. Dropkin asking for normal weight here. We'll get you some updates from other games as they start to progress here. Still in the early going on all of our other sheets. We have Cooey with a 2-0 lead in the first. After the first, Chase Sinnott has a 2-0 lead. And Tell has a 1-0 lead. Hilschek 1-0 over Maeda, and Van Amsterdam 1-0 over our curling stadium friend and hero, Ryan Jakes. In case you guys don't know, Ryan Jakes is a producer for many of our productions, responsible for firing in those replays and making us sound somewhat intelligent. So Korey Dropkin with his first of the third. We're on the hit parade here. The Ballance team is from Okotoks, which comes from the Blackfoot language word for rock. Originally a big buffalo hunting area. But in 1879, the last of the buffalo were killed. Been victim to some major flooding events of late in 95, 05, and 13. And it's nestled around the Sheep River. Got to hold on to this one, and you'll get it. Roll on over to the other wing, so it'll be a slightly different shot for Korey to look at. The town of Okotoks has a population of about 33,000. Korey makes that one no problem. That'll be the final stone of the third end. Gets himself lined up. He's going to throw this from the intern side. Looking to lose the shooter. James Ballance with the final stone of the third end. Firing away at this. And that will wrap up the blank. And with that, it will wrap up this edition of Blank End Trivia with Dave. We had an end number 4. It's 3-0.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. when I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Back here in the fourth end, it's James Ballance. He has a hammer here. Korey Dropkin holding a 3-stone lead. Dropkin brings one right in the first corner. Is up for Ballance. The second one's going to come in. Here's Lance Wheeler. And Stapera holding the broom. Korey Dropkin off the ice for just a moment here in the fourth. And they're going to try to determine whether that's on. I do think it's on, and they are going to hit it, so. Have to really hurry to hold this on. This one is taken off. Even hold it on just to get a little piece. You got a sliver. And that's about you pushed it dead under your own corner guard. Probably about the worst place it could go. So Dropkin line shot and now second stone under cover. So Tom Howell's going to put the card back up again with a 3-rock lead. No real reason for Korey to get super fancy here. Get this last bit of finish out of it. And Lance gets it pretty much there. Probably would like to have seen that go a half a rock further. So now they're going to try to come on down here and get to the point where Ballance feels like he needs to use some of this mess to his advantage. So even though he's drawn underneath his own opponent's color down to it. It does give him opportunity to put a control rock into position. So now Korey's going to try to hit the opposite corner to put the angles back in his favor. This one's starting to, line's pretty good, maybe just a pound heavy, but not too bad. Still Dropkin saying the one. Ballance still forced to do some setup here. Hoping a corner freeze in that stone that was just thrown. So it's going to be Adam Nogler with that shot. Adam, a former member of Team Canada's junior team. Represented Canada at Worlds. This one, though, is going to struggle to get past the guard, and it will just kiss it. Oh, but I don't know if you want to leave that cover there. So an unfortunate leave there for the Ballance squad. Now, what do you do here if you're Korey Dropkin and you have Adam Stapera ready to throw? His answer is going to be to put another one in there and key it up so he has access to that red second shot stone. So corner freeze just a half onto your own rock, and will give the Ballance stone a one-way ticket out of town. Got to go for the weight now. Lance Wheeler joining them. One thing I've always noticed when Lance sweeps, you always see the very bottom of his shoes. I mean, you know exactly. You see all that Teflon all the time because he really gets up on his toes really well. Now no choice for Ballance rather to perform some cleanup. Get Bo Cornelson to try to get some of that work done here. Nice clean release from him there. Hold this one out. Got to stay out there. You got to get the one driving in there. And all you did was replace your own. Need to get a little bit more angle on that one. So Dropkin looking to be a good spot here. Going to remove one of the only threats here, which is this stone belonging to himself, actually. But by peeling that out, gives Ballance very, very little to look at. Really tough spot that Ballance finds himself in here. Thinking about calling the back line way here. They're talking about it. If we, not a lot of good places to look at here. Take a look at the overhead. So the idea is here to just come on in with backline weight, tap that shot stone out and roll open. It will leave a line shot. Only problem with that is Korey's got lots of ways to get to that red in the top four right now. So crucial stone here in the fourth, trailing by 3. Ballance can't give up another steal here, and it seems to be too late to blank. This one's going to over curl. It does expose shot rock somewhat. So with that now being the case, Korey's going to have to address that rock that was just thrown. His first instinct was to come with a high hard one and roll flat across. Another thing you could do is you could probably come down and get into your own there that's touching the center line. No, it doesn't look good from the long shot, but the Rocks have plenty of finish to get there. And you would kick out the second count rock now and lie 1-2, but probably in a much more secure position. The risk is here, if you ever don't make this roll, you're going to leave good access back. You see Stapera cleaning the way there for that roll because it is going to be dead flat. Tricky situation. It's a very aggressive call with the lead. So here's Korey Dropkin with his first. Line looks pretty good now. You get it there. Can you walk it over far enough? You get over, but I don't think you got far enough there. And that is going to leave a shot back. So that was the danger doing that there. Now there's a pretty accessible slash there. Question is, what do you do? In the fourth. You throw this shot, for sure you're going to be shot afterwards. Now, what's Korey going to do in response to it? And that's the biggest question. Now, here's James Ballance with the first stone for him in the fourth. Line looks great for the slash. Bang, bang, you lose both of them, but you knew you're going to lose your shooter. They do said shot. Now, Korey, he's going to take on that little takeout I discussed earlier. I know it looks absolutely terrible here from the long shot, but these rocks have been showing some really good late finish. You throw this right, should be able to kill this redstone in line 2. He asked for just the slightest broom adjustment. And now here's Korey Dropkin from Southborough, Massachusetts, originally. Now trying to get Lance to curl it over. It needs to go. It needs to go. You get a little piece, and it's just a little sliver. Not enough, and it will be a draw for 2 for James Ballance. It was just coming on down there and had plenty of room past the guard. Then they tried to work it over. And it did get some finish at the end. It just wasn't enough to do any damage. So it'll be a draw to the 4-foot here. Just touch a little piece of it. You got it. Not a problem. Final stone of end number 4. Rusher's not seeming too concerned about it. This one's going to come on down. And looks to be a little bit heavy, and it is. So it's going to be a single point for James Ballance. He's on the board. It's 3-1. Dropkin with the hammer. When we come back in the 5th, you're watching Curling Stadium.
Crafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock, and still miss. But it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
We're back here in the fifth end of play from the Saville Community Sports Center. It's the Saville Grand Prix here on Curling Stadium. Take a look around the rings right now. Kevin Cooey was all over Davies, 9-1. That game is a final. Adams and Whip are tied up at 2. Morzumi with a 2-1 lead in the fourth. Sinnott, a 3-2 lead over Libis. Tao and Dunbar are tied up at 1. Maeda and Hushek are tied at 2. And Van Amsterdam still with a 2-1 lead over Ryan Jakes. It gets you caught up around the rings. Here on our feature game, it's 3-1 in favor of Korey Dropkin. So Dropkin now with the hammer line. Shot rock. Launch with that stone off the center line. Almost in a good position for Korey to use. And the second guard goes up, so Ballance is now double side guarded. Don't want to say corner guarded. Those are a little bit tight to the center line, which always dangerous because they're good enough for Korey to use, but really not good enough for him to use. Now Dropkin's going to look to throw the big split in the rings here. This one is light, and Corey's going to come on out and escort it, but I think it's already there. Turns out Lance had plenty of pepper on that. Here's Adam Nogler. Looking to make a hit and a long roll. Going to roll well behind the tee line if you make this. Only get as far as the 4-foot here. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here. I'm Dave Schmel, and you're watching Curling Stadium on the Stadium Sports Network. You can check out all the scores here from the Saville Grand Prix right on curlingzone.com and all the other events going on. Obviously, a major international event with the Pan American Cup. And now to get to that Dropkin rock, they are keyed up pretty good on the guards for Ballance. So he's going to just lean back and let Nagler fire away. Dead nose should do it. Always easier said than done. Gotta hold it. Need to be dead on the nose. And you're not. You do scatter things some here, but still Korey Dropkin lying under cover, and he's going to come right up and peel that guard. Dropkin has no problem with the blank end here. It's all on James Ballance to pressure the situation. Tom Howell dispatches that guard. And now this will bring up another edition of Blank End Trivia with Dave. So we said Korey Dropkin was from Southborough, Massachusetts. That's in Worcester County, Massachusetts. Worcester County, one of the more central counties of Massachusetts. Southborough was first settled in 1660, incorporated in 1727. Small town, 8,781 people as of the 2000 census. But from there, as Korey, as a member of the Broomstones Curling Club, has started to progress. Moved on and eventually moved on out with his team, the Young Bucks, as they were known. Started on the U.S. national circuit right out of juniors and in their early 20s, trying to take on what was then the more established team of John Schuster and towards the end of Pete Fenson's career. And the Young Bucks made quite a lot of noise. For sure. And the U.S. game was certainly better for it. It made it quite clear that the established teams couldn't rest in their laurels, and everybody would have to bring up their game. And as the old saying goes, a rising tide brings up all the ships. And now we have several good teams on the men's side. Of course, Team John Schuster having been to 5 consecutive Olympic Games. And you have Team Dropkin, who's been giving them a run for their money. Richie Rahonen had quite the run with his squad. Now Colin Huffman from his team has joined Team Schuster. But it's been interesting times in between quads on the men's side. We've also had lots of shifts on the ladies' side in the States. Have had all the teams reshuffling a lot, like you do for every quad, trying to get your team and your nation in the best spot for the Olympic Games. And up and down we continue to go. Korey Dropkin makes his living now as a real estate agent, as seems to be the profession for every competitive curler ever now. Said Korey from the Broomstones Curling Club, which is a beautiful curling club in Wayland, Massachusetts. Was formed by the closure of 4 local country clubs curling rinks, and they banded forces to build an own dedicated curling club, and one of the best centers on the East Coast of the United States for sure. Great ice all the time and great hospitality. Here's Korey Dropkin looking to complete the end. Just needs to blanket here and roll out. Korey Dropkin with his final stone of the 5th. Dropkin sliding all the way down with it. Makes a hit, makes the roll out. The blanket's in the books, and that brings to a close. Blank and Fun Facts with Dave. We'll be back for the 6th right after this on Curling Stadium.
Crafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
And we're back here. It's the 6th end of play from the Saville Grand Prix, the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm Dave Schmel, and now joined in the booth by my good friend Sean Joyce. Good morning, Sean.
The booth, is it? Good morning. I don't know what booth you're in. I'm in the basement.
Oh, man. Well, we've had a game here which started off with a couple little jabs at each other, and it seems to settle in to Dropkin kind of being in control of this game. Ballance had a really, really good shot in the second end to tie the game with a draw to the 4-foot. He elected instead to throw a little bit more difficult double takeout, and that resulted in the steal of one for Dropkin in the second. And from then on, Korey's pretty much been able to dictate the pace of play here.
Well, Korey Dropkin, one of the best teams in the world, and a good front-running team because they hit so well. This is not a team you wanted to fall behind 3-0 early. The good thing, though, for the Ballance team is this ice at the Saville Center does give you lots of opportunities to play come-arounds, and that's what you need to do if you're going to come back in a game like this.
Absolutely, and they do have the double guards up, so it's going to give them that opportunity, but you certainly would have liked to have had Hammer in the sixth, and given Korey the blank there in the fifth, just seems like a missed opportunity.
Well, that one stopped just in time. It's still probably deeper than they would have liked.
So now this is the time when you have to take the lead there.
Yeah, it's not critical necessarily. You saw them indicate they'd like to tap this back. Not necessarily critical at this point in time because you know that Dropkin's probably going to start peeling guards, but you've got to get right to the face of this. It's not critical to be shot rock yet. Can't be on the outside and give them a chance to maybe blast it out.
And Sean, we welcome you. I know you were calling the Kevin Cooey game this morning. Give us an insight out as to how that went. It did go quickly.
Yeah, it did go quickly. Zach Davies would probably like to forget that one. They struggled early, and the Cooey team was sharp. Just kept piling the rocks into play, and Zach Davies was down 9-0 after 3. They played the fourth, I think, probably just to get one solid end under their belt because, you know, in these round-robin competitions, it is nice to get a little bit of confidence after a slow start. And they had a better end, only able to pick up the single, but they had some chances in that fourth. So hopefully that sets them up with a little bit more confidence going into their game later today.
We have the peel there from Tom Howell. Now, Sean, Mark Fenner is still dealing with his hip injury, so Lance Wheeler from Team Dropkin is throwing the lead stones, and Tom Howell has moved up from lead to second for this event.
It's good that you know that because I wouldn't have.
That's the benefits of the fact that Lance has played at my club.
There you go.
Yeah, so Lance is wearing a Fenner
I
shirt.
noticed.
But now Lance's competitive team, Team Dunham, they were able to qualify for U.S. Nationals a couple weeks ago by their virtue of their second place finish in the St. Paul Cash Spiel. And that was an automatic qualifier down here. So now that all that's out of the way, he can lend a hand in this cash spiel to his friend Korey. Now we're going to see Hal do more cleanup here.
Have to admit, this is my first chance to ever see the Ballance team as well, so I'm not familiar with their lineup either.
Yeah, not sure if it's Balance. I've been saying Ballance.
Ballance, that could be. Might make more sense, actually, with two L's in there.
Yeah, with a double L, yeah. I was going to go with you because I assumed you knew, but if you don't, I'm going with Ballance.
This is my first time ever seeing this lineup. I haven't seen them before.
If anybody knows for sure, feel free to put it in the chat. We would appreciate that. We don't want to butcher somebody's name all week if we can help it.
No, that was one of the first things they taught me when I started doing broadcasting is a lot of times, of course, it was the early days of streaming, and a lot of times it was just friends and relatives watching, and that was the rule, is make sure you get the name right because grandma's watching. Having said that, Dave, you've probably heard me say this before. A lot of these teams will tell you, if you could ask them, that as long as you spell it right on the giant check at the end of the event, they don't really care how you pronounce it through the broadcasting.
That's right. So Dropkin still shot there in the button. Peeling away.
Yeah, looking at, you can see him looking over his shoulder, so still looking at the double peel on the reds, and if he gets that, it might come in and do some damage in the house as well.
Just over the top of that.
There was a little risk in playing it that way because you could have actually clipped that second red and missed the red at the top of the forefoot and actually caught the yellow shot stone. You'd have to be a little unlucky to do that. Can't see very much of that yellow one on that angle in from the red. Last of the third stones here, and James thinking maybe it's time to do something with the setup in the house.
Yeah, they are lined up pretty good to get to it. But the question is not what you throw, but what are you leaving back?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if this might be one shot too early.
So here's Bo Cornelson.
Looking to hit yellow onto red onto yellow, and he actually can probably roll his shooter and maybe get a Christmas tree set up here if he can make this.
The line looks pretty good. This needs to come over just a skosh. The yellow onto the red, onto the yellow, and they lie shot under staggered cover.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it looks okay. I think actually they would have liked to hit that a little thinner, roll the shooter partly behind the cover and leave everything staggered. There's a double available right now. Just off the nose to get that stone in the forefoot.
And I heard Korey ask Andrew Stepera to throw for peel weight here.
It's close to a dead jam, I think. Yep.
It didn't jam and had to get away my daily Stepera's shout out to Aunt Sue and Uncle Bill. They're watching from the Netherlands today. It's always an interesting moment at our club when Team Dunham is playing Team Dropkin, because Team Dunham is from our club, and Andrew Stepera's aunt and uncle are members of our club, but they clearly have different loyalties.
Now the shot stone's exposed right now, so they're just going to look to guard it. At least on this attempt. It'll be interesting to see, if this was his last stone, would you come in and try to tap that up a bit? It's hard to think that's going to be a good enough stone to steal with. You expect an opposing skip to be able to draw to the button when they've got the entire side of the sheet open.
The Ballance brings this one in.
Yeah, he's going to leave a pretty easy double peel.
There's a lot of room to hit that.
Well, there is, but you got to take a look at it. If you hit the outside one, does it touch the back end of the one he just threw and come back? Could you get all three? And that's what they're looking at.
Let's see here. I got my clipboard up against my screen.
Well, I'm trying to decide if those two are I don't see any space. If they're touching,
they are touching, I believe.
Yeah. So that means if you hit the outside one, even though it's behind the one that was just thrown, you're not missing that rock. And then where does it come back? The danger in trying to play the double peel the other side, and that's what you see them looking at. Would this stone that was just thrown ever come into that yellow at the side? I don't think it would.
Yeah, I think it goes over the top myself.
Over the top of the yellow, you mean? No, I think it
Yeah.
goes under the yellow.
Well, then, if both of us are wrong, it's going to go right into it, Sean.
I don't think you can ever make that red go over the yellow. It's too thin on the first red.
Oh, yeah, it is now. Looking at it this way, actually, I'm convinced more of it now. Corey's going to let us find out in just a moment. I expect the heat to come from Korey.
Yeah, he's still going to want to hit this one fairly thick. Now, with the big weight, I mean, you could hit 3/4 and you're easily going to roll your shooter out of play. He's a little thin.
And look at that. It happens to go underneath.
Well, now
I'm just here to make you sound smart, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this call either.
So
there's two choices here. You're playing the hit for the force, or you play the guard and hope you can steal. Now, having said that, I will say you don't expect to be able to steal on a rock that's just biting the top of the forefoot like that. Not that it doesn't happen once in a while, but he's got the entire intern side of the sheet to throw the draw to the button. And nothing blocking his path that way. That's a pretty comfortable draw for most skips. So if you think he's going to get one anyway, you better make sure you don't give him the shot for 2, I guess is what they've decided. Because if you ever leave him half a rock when you throw the guard, he might be able to pick up 2.
So final stone here from Ballance, looking for the hit and stick. Don't want to double.
Wasn't probably too worried about leaving the double because you'd have to, for Korey to even play the double, he'd have to play the double and roll out, which isn't likely. So he's just going to play for the nose hit, get his single.
And take that 3-stone lead.
Yeah.
So Korey Dropkin with the final stone of the 6th. Got Wheeler on this, off and on, always a good sign. Got to hang on, curling up a little bit, but he makes his single. It's 4-1 after 6.
Crafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
We are back here from the Saville Community Sports Center. It's a Saville Grand Prix. Here on Curling Stadium, Korey Dropkin grabs that single. It's a 4-1 lead over James Ballance. I'm Dave Schmel, joined by Sean Joyce. Connor Sims is on our production this morning.
Interesting placement on that corner guard because it's about halfway. It's tough to throw the second corner guard on the same side. And with Ballance needing two here, you have to think he's got to at least be thinking about double corners here. So might have to go to the other side. Now, he doesn't necessarily have to throw the second corner either.
As you mentioned before, this Dropkin team so proficient on the peels.
They are. Well, and you know, as much as the math still works, he can get two here, steal one in 8, steal one in the extra end, and he still wins. But you'd like to keep your chances alive to score 3 here, and really to score 3, it's tough to do that with one guard. They're coming around here. This surprises me a little bit. You know, you score 3 here, you only need to steal one time to get the win. Back-to-back steals is a tough ask. It's doable. They're just single points. But why not throw the double corners here and see if you can't get a chance for your 3 at least?
No, I certainly agree with you. I feel like you had to be all in for a multiple score here. This one is not heavy. They're going to have to drag it to get it there. They are past the guard now. Is this the depth that they want? Can you leave it just high enough in the rings that maybe it almost serves as that second corner?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Corey's going to come into the center again.
And maybe you draw to the back
you
12.
Might.
Yeah.
Well, back 12 or I thought you were going to say you could freeze to that one at the back of the forefoot as well.
Oh, you certainly could, yeah. I was still trying to come up with a dream, the impossible dream for 3.
Well, freezing the one at the back of the forefoot, the 3 is still alive. Like basically for Ballance right now, the trick is going to be to deal with those rocks in the middle while at the same time not giving Dropkin a chance to do anything with the rocks on the corner.
You see, he's looking at both options there.
Well, you have to do something with the 3 in the middle, and you may as well start now. And the freeze is probably the simplest way to do it. I mean, you could try to move the top 2, and that's what they're looking at now. The danger is that freeze is looking pretty good right now, and it might not look as good after you move the 2 at the top of the house. Still, if you could get 3 behind the tee line, you're in pretty good shape. It's not critical to kill any of these yellows. It's absolutely mandatory you don't lose the shooter.
So here's Adam Nogler playing with him this week. They operate as a 5-man team. Hard right to it.
Yeah, they needed to be a little bit more off the nose, though. I think they've left the double on the reds. It's thin, but it's there. Could simply go after the corner guard, too.
You see Corey taking a look here. You're going to call for a quarter of a rock.
Yeah, it's definitely thin.
Quarter rock with firm weight.
Yeah, not the way the Ballance team was looking to hit that. They wanted to roll a little bit to the open side, not leave this double.
So here's Tom Howell on the attempt. Stopera trying to hold it out there. On the one, over the other, bang, bang. There you go. See you later.
Does lose the shooter, though, so that's not entirely bad for the Ballance team because now all 3 yellows behind the tee line, and the one they're freezing to now is also behind the corner guard. They'll only be third shot after they make the freeze, but it'd be hard to get this rock out. And there is a double available on the middle later on if he needs it. I'm playing chess in my mind now. So you're on seconds last stone now. If you make the corner freeze, Dropkin peels the guard. You probably have to replace the guard at least once. Yeah, you got to make the corner freeze first.
This looks a bit spicy. And it is going to slide on in behind, not the shot they needed there. So now the corner goes for sure.
Yeah. Well, and you can't really replace it. You're not going to guard a stone in the back of the 12-foot that's fourth shot, so they're going to have to make another freeze attempt in the house somewhere. Well, this is going to make that decision easier.
Yeah, they make the hit, but leave a center guard.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
No. Just the way he signaled that almost looks like they're playing the either or. I think you have to make a clear decision here. Are you playing the freeze or are you playing the come around? There's benefits to both. If you ever get the freeze, there's a chance that maybe in an attempt to hit later on, you double out those two yellows. Well, that means that red at the back of the 12-foot would be third shot.
First order of business is going to have to be to get past the guard, and that is not going to happen.
Well, not on the side they were intending. Almost got by it on the other side.
That's off by a good bit.
Korey Dropkin looking at the double peel. I think you're at the point where you're better off to play the come around. It's your own guard. It's on the center. Everything you've got in the house now is behind the tee line. You almost have to switch gears here and get something in the top of the 4-foot.
He's come to that now, and
yeah.
Andrew and Tom speaking about what the weight has to be for this shot. And the stone from Andrew Stapera is on the way.
Make a good one here, and it's going to be hard for Ballance to get any more than one. And in fact, you put this right at the top of the button, dead behind cover, and you could steal this end, which would probably mean handshakes. That's a little warm, though.
It does leave room. So coming from the intern side.
Yeah. Still, the issue here for James Ballance is there's not going to be a lot of, and I'm sorry for doing this in advance, there's not going to be a lot of real estate left on the Remax sheet to try to score your two.
It's okay. Earlier I mentioned that Korey Dropkin has, his profession is what every curler seems to do now, real estate. Right to the top of the balloon.
Yeah. Puts it in a nice spot. But again, the problem is going to be how do you score two? And that's part of the discussion that Dropkin is going to have here. Like, he might want to peel the guard, and that's what he's looking at. But you could just close off the house here. Like, he's fine giving up one. Looks like he's going to attempt the run on the guard, straight back. If it overcurls just a hair and he just straight peels the guard, then James is still going to have a decision to make. Where do you put the next one?
I think Corey's trying not to give this one time to curl.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to be light here.
Lance Wheeler trying to hold it right off his hand. Dead nose on the one. Bang all the way through.
So Dropkin sits 4. There's doubles all over the place. Can you make a double and roll behind cover? I think you probably can.
You can make that one for sure. I think you might even be shot at by the time you're done.
Yeah. Well, and why it matters, if you can make a double and sit buried, there's going to be another double available that could bring that stone at the back of the 12-foot into play, and that complicates things a little bit more for Korey Dropkin. He does not want to give up 3 here very badly.
This does not indicate to me that they're taking the double on, more that they're just going to look to remove the shot rack and trickle in behind the guard.
Yeah, but if you're making a hit and roll behind the corner guard, you're probably, well, you're catching that yellow at the back of the 8-foot anyway. It's a question of how you hit it. You don't need big weight to make the double here. And you do have to roll to buried somehow or another.
So first stone for Ballance. Now they're happy with it. Carve it over just a touch. Get the one, or you're going to get the roll and recover. It needs to be the perfect roll. That roll's pretty good.
A little unfortunate on the hit as it dead jammed at the back.
Yeah, never going to see that back red come
No,
in now.
that back red's not going to come into play now for sure. So Korey Dropkin will play the draw in around, and somehow or another, James Ballance is going to have a shot at 2. Now, whether or not he can get at it direct, or if he has to play the angle run in on the tight corner guard, he's got to play for 2. So it just depends on where Korey is able to put this. If he's dead buried, he'll have to play the angle run in.
So here's the final stone of the 7th end upcoming for Korey Dropkin. Looking to tuck one underneath that cover. And lie shot stone.
Yeah, the 2 possibilities here. If he dead buries it, just biting the top of the 4-foot, so he shot rocket, makes that angle run in very thin. The other possibility, and it's really tough to do it, is if you are dead buried and lined up so that red onto yellow is going to jam onto that yellow at the back. But that's a tough one to call.
This one's going to be underneath the guard and full 4-foot, and they do lie the shot rack. Now
that's pretty good.
Just play it with the quiet weight.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, if you don't get it by that yellow at the back of the 8-foot, I don't think the red at the side of the 8 is shot rock. If you're hitting it thin enough to get it by that, I don't know that you're keeping the shooter. I'd be tempted to run the red one in from the corner.
Do you think you can make it from the outturn side?
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of the play on this sheet. You might be able to, because I think if you jam the back one, the very back one, you might, well, boy, it's tough to say. You dead jam either of those yellows, I'm not sure your second shot on the side of the 8.
So final stone in the 7th. It's a must make for James Ballance.
Yeah, he seems fairly confident in this. I'm not sure it's there, because to hit it thin enough to get it by the stone at the back of the 8-foot, I'm not sure you're holding the shooter.
Literally with the game in the balance. Final stone of end number 7.
You've been saving that up for 7 ends.
This one needs to curl on up now. Just get past the guard. Just do. Now you hit it. Now it jams. Does it clear? It doesn't. And you're only going to get 1. So it's a single point for Ballance. It's 4-2 after 7th. Dropkin will have the hammer in the 8th when we come back on Curling Stadium.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Back here at number 8. Dave Schmel and Sean Joyce here with you. Take a little look around the rings here in the opening draw of the Saville Grand Prix. Kevin Cooey with a 9-1 victory. Tied up in the 6th with Adams and Whip. Murazumi holding a 6-1 lead over Tim. Libis 4-3 over Chase Sinnott. That game in the 5th. Tal 2-1 over Dunbar. Volshak has now taken a 4-2 lead over Maeda. And Van Amsterdam. Evan still holds a 3-2 lead over Ryan Jakes. Back here on our feature, it's 4-2 in favor of Korey Dropkin. Dropkin has the hammer here in end number 8. And Sean, we were talking in the break, just didn't really think that shot was there.
Yeah, no, it jammed pretty solidly at the back. Now, granted, he could have hit it a little thinner, but it's still, I don't know that it's ever going over the top of that rock and holding the shooter. I'm a little surprised they didn't look at the angle run in, but you know, you got to put that behind you now. You got to try and steal your 2 just to get to an extra end. The saving grace, as difficult as this is for the Ballance team, is that with the 5 rock free guard zone and the no tick zone, he's going to have a chance to get the guards up. Now, they got the first guard in a really good position. They're going to look for the long one here, and they still need to make sure it touches center. This is going to be really long, but it's got to get to the right side of the hog line, and it's not going to.
That's something you just could not afford in that situation.
No.
Bad enough you had to steal 2. It's tougher even still to do with 7 stones.
Yeah, because the peels can start on the next one. And, you get 2 guards, you get plenty of separation. They probably can only peel 1 at a time when you do it that way. That gives you your chance to get 2 around. Now with only 1 guard in play, I mean, they can throw the second one now, but Korey can start peeling it right away.
And just has Lance throw that one through.
Yeah, you're going to
Korey
need...
Korey wants no parts of congestion here.
No, anything you put in now would be just something they could use. I mean, they'll come around that stone at the top of the 4 foot, maybe to the back 8 or something to try to get one in play. But it's if you can't do it with 2 guards, the other way to try to steal 2 is to sit 3 and hope for a rollout. Well, again, when you've only got 1 guard to work with, it's hard to hide enough rocks while Korey Dropkin's peeling guards to get a 3rd one in the house. You really needed the 2nd guard before they could start peeling.
This one comes across, is going to leave an angle, though.
And they're pretty close together. I feel confident he's going to be able to make contact with the 2nd guard here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it doesn't go over the top. Now, it might drag into the stone in the rings, but Korey Dropkin won't even mind that at this point in the end. It's definitely dragging some amount when they're that close together.
Here's Wheeler hard in the brush.
This is not going to be very far off the nose.
Leaves a corner guard. But the 2 red ones are out. I'm going to put the center right back.
Yeah, they're going to throw 1 more center. I expect that's all. Even this, I thought they might look at coming around that stone at the top 4 foot, because you bring this to where they're looking at it. Korey Dropkin's going to come off the side of it and try to kill the corner guard as well. That's pretty good there. If he wants to play the double peel, he has to play the red towards the yellow. That's too risky, so he's just going to peel the 1.
There'll be Powell again with the peel.
So you pretty much have to come around something here. You can come around the corner guard, let him peel the corner, or you come around. I don't see how you're getting anything throwing another guard here. You're going to run out of rocks. You need to make Korey hit something yellow here.
Up. There we go. They heard you. They heard you, Sean.
You can come around either one. You come around the yellow, he peels the corner guard. He peels the corner guard. You can come around the run at the top of the 4 foot. He might try to run it back. Whichever one you play here, you're hoping for a bit of a miss, and then you're playing the other one on the next attempt. This is about trying to sit 3. It's not about worrying about getting buried. This is how you start to set up a chance to maybe sit 3. If you can make Korey look at 3 with his last one, you're hoping for a rollout.
Yeah, because trailing by 2, the score being 4-2, you're going to need that help.
Yeah. You kind of have to do it with 4 rocks left, because you're going to leave them an open hit somewhere.
This one's got to get past the guard, and it's not going to.
No, that kind of looked, and certainly looked like they think it might have picked something coming across the hog line as well.
I think they found it. That's unfortunate right there.
I thought he might try this from the center line side. He's trying it from the board side. He has to make sure he touches the 2nd guard, because if he ever clips the first one thin, he could put it right into that stone at the top 4.
Little speed wobble from Andrew on the way out, and he does nut it and leave 2 guards.
Well, you still got a chance to sit your 3. You come around and you're hoping he jams it again, so you get a chance to bring a 2nd one around. Then even if he peels, you hit the one in the middle with your last one.
Yeah, you got to Little sliver of a crack of an opening. Got to get there. Key shot here for Bo Cornelson.
Got nice line coming by. Yeah, they can be deep here.
No, yeah, there's really no harm in this. You just have to be there.
Yeah, just make sure you're buried. It doesn't matter if it's deep because you're hoping for a chance to come around again. So room for two, whether you come behind it or come in front of it, doesn't really matter as long as you can get a second one in there.
Yeah, because Corey's never going to follow that down. The peel's always going to be the shot.
Yeah, and you're hoping he jams it again, and then you can come around again.
Better delivery there from Andrew. A somewhat better result, but still leaves that guard up there.
Yeah, and it's still covering the stone at the back of the 8-foot. You come around again.
So
you're saying there's a chance.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? But it's not over now. For those of viewers that are too young to remember that reference, that's from National Lampoon's Animal House. One of the best movies of all time.
I went more modern. Mine was Dumb and Dumber.
I never seen that movie because I live it. So what's your ideal depth here?
You know what? The depth on this one doesn't even matter. It's got to be dead buried. He can come right down to his own at the back if he has to. That's fine. Dead bury this one. Korey Dropkin still probably peels the corner guard because that way he knows he's going to have an open shot with the last one. Then you nose hit at the top of the 4-foot. And he probably has to play the double on the 2 on the side because I think if he nose hits the one again in the middle, he wouldn't be shot rock. In fact, it would still be a steal of 2. Just depends where this ends up.
This one taking the line nicely. Past the guard, no problem. Gonna be dead buried, just like you said. Big shot for the skipper when he needed it. But Korey can play off his own right at it if he wants to.
He could. The danger in that, though, you hit the first one too thick and miss the third one. Now you're going to be facing 3 buried with the last one.
You see them talking about those possibilities. Korey looking at the run peel, maybe. Yeah.
I think you just peel the corner guard. The unfortunate thing for Ballance, and yet, I mean, it was mostly important to bury it. Where it stopped, so just play this out. Peel the corner guard, Ballance hits the yellow one. Now I think the nose hit on that one that was just delivered probably gets Korey's shot rock, or at least second shot rock.
So Tom Howe comes down, gives him his input.
Yeah, Korey's looking at playing it as a double, which is fine. You play the guard almost straight back. You get 2 of them, game's pretty much over. The only way you could hurt yourself is if you miss the 2 in the rings and roll to leave some kind of a guard. I don't think with the weight he's throwing, there's any chance to do that. You're either going to get the straight peel or you make contact with one of those reds, which might make them all fly.
And just in terms of comfort level, this is more of a Korey shot.
Yeah, he's comfortable with this. There's no reason to necessarily play the straight peel on the corner, but if you get that, he's fine with that too. He'll be careful not to miss this on the board side. If he's going to miss it, it'll be the center line side and roll away.
So Korey Dropkin with his first here in the 8th. A chance to kill the game right now. Right down to it. Gonna be right on the nose. 1, 2, and no, you leave them sitting too. It did double jam. So play this out, buddy.
Well, it still worked out okay for Korey because James is going to have to hit the Yellowstone sit 3, but he's not going to be able to roll anywhere where Korey doesn't have a nose hit to at least sit second shot. You know, that red at the back of the 8 now that moved over and is just a sliver in the 12. No matter which nose hit Korey has got left, he's going to be beating that stone out. So he's going to have to roll out for James to have a shot here. And it's tough to leave this rock in a spot where that's possible. Or likely, I guess. It's always possible. Probably try to roll dead in front of your own stone, I guess.
That's probably the best outcome.
Yeah, you hope you can talk Korey into playing the double, and if he hits it a little thin, he rolls out, misses the second stone. I don't think Korey will be fooled into that. He'll still just play the nose hit. He doesn't care if he jams it. Yeah, he's going to nose hit, stay right there. So now you definitely need the rollout. Rollout's tough though because that yellow or that red at the edge of the 8-foot is a catcher.
So Korey Dropkin just looking for the hit and stick here in the 8th end with the final stone to secure the victory here in the opening draw of the Saville Grand Prix. The next draw will be the opening draw of the women's event. And Sean, you're going to have Mahoma Tabata against Corin Brown.
That's easy for you to say. I haven't confirmed how I have to pronounce those names yet. Corin Brown, I guess we know, but.
So Korey Dropkin, final stone event number 8. Needs a hit and stick for the victory.
This is across the line early.
Lance Wheeler,
he did not throw this well.
Now going to plan B. Got to try to hit the other one.
That might have picked as well.
Got a hold there.
We got an extra end.
No. Oh. That caught it. It's going to be a steal of 2 and an extra end. We're all tied up. We'll be back from the Saville Community Sports Center right after this. You're watching Curling Stadium.
When curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
So we're here in the 9th end from the Saville Grand Prix. Dave Schmel, Sean Joyce, Connor Sims here with you. It's all tied up, and what a surprising end to that.
Yeah, this is a very much unexpected extra end. It was a wide open hit for Korey Dropkin, and definitely tight out of his hand when he threw it. They were on the brush right away, but it might have picked as well. Regardless, it over curled. It's a steal of 2, and we're still playing. Boy, they really need this to hold on to the line, though.
And it is off the line.
And we're going to see a tick shot attempt.
So Lance Wheeler is going to be called on for the tick. Lance generally plays second on his team. Also was the skip of Team USA at the World Mixed.
Going to make contact.
Is it going to hang on? Is it going to hang on? It does hit the side rail. So back she goes. But no harm in trying that, I would say.
No, there's no harm in trying it. You got to make an attempt at it. They're looking to see if the rock actually left a ring on the ice so they can position that stone.
It looks to be a little bit of outboard of where it was, but maybe only by a hair.
Yeah.
It's always tough to tell exactly where.
It is. And the trouble now for the Ballance team is, where do you put the next guard? Because that one's also about halfway. It's probably no good to throw a higher one, so you're going to have to play this tighter.
Which will make it much more doubleable later.
Later, yeah. Now, important to hold the center line on this one. And again, this one's in danger of over curling.
And it is going to come into contact with the center line only because it wrecked their own.
Yeah, so Korey Dropkin going to look for the come around. James Ballance still might have a decision to make, because you know that's a pretty easy double peel. Do you have to throw a third guard?
I think you might have to throw a high one.
Maybe. It's a possibility. You could come under those two as well. Give them that double peel and know that you're going to protect one, because if you throw the high one, you might leave a triple.
That one was hanging out there for Fenner for the longest time.
Well, it's really deep. That definitely doesn't prevent the guard. You could come around now, let them play the double peel, and then try to guard for the entire end. But if you're coming around now, it has to be good enough to steal. That just bite the top of the forefoot. I don't like that call. I think you need a piece of the button here. If you're going to play the come around, you come around to the top of the button, let him peel a double guard, and then you guard for your life. If you're only biting forefoot, Korey Dropkin just draws button with his final stone. This is a long ways out there too, and maybe strong.
So 2 straight stones on that track. Ran a little bit, and it's right to the Reback's balloon.
Yeah, he got button out of it, though. That's not a bad result, because if Dropkin elects to play the double peel, that's a rock you could steal with. You guard it for the rest of the end, and that's the dilemma for Dropkin. Like, you could see a piece of that stone. You could go after it directly, because obviously Ballance is never going to be able to make a better rock than that one. But this is your chance to get the double peel, so they're going to play it.
Asking for the curl side, and that will explode all the guards, and they go away. Well thrown by Tom Hell. And now there's the Alamo. Defend it at all costs.
Going to be a series of guards here. Now, the last one might have to come fairly tight, because on this ice, you could come by and move that stone. But the rest of these, it's probably more important to be dead in line. Even halfway is fine. You need to make sure that Korey Dropkin is peeling guards. You start to get this too close, and he's going to try to run it into the rock in the rings.
This needs to put the blinker on and take a turn.
Yeah, and that's the problem, that they've got to bring it in tight to try to get it to cover shot rock. And now there's a chance Korey could go after both of them. He actually could see a lot of that shot rock.
Yeah, it's going to invite the draw underneath, but it won't be as good of a shot now.
Yeah, no, you can't beat the one that's there now.
So Stepera holding this one out for Hal.
Yeah, that's a little quieter than I thought they'd play this. I'm not sure that they needed to hold the shooter.
Still have to draw under, though, don't you, buddy?
You could guard the guard for now. The problem with drawing under is there's only going to be about 6 feet between them, and Korey could try to get everything.
It seems the front end kind of likes the guard.
If you can get a good high one, you can get a lot more separation between the 2 red stones with the guard. The only thing that hurts you right now is a double. You've got a guard to work with, so you're going to have a chance.
Looking for a really, really high guard.
Yeah, and
that's not going to be really, really high.
Doesn't look like it.
This is like watching the Price is Right and that poor mountain climber going up the mountain.
Still got as much separation there as they would have gotten into a rock in the rings. So I think Korey's just playing the straight peel here. If you try the double here, there's a chance it's coming into the yellow in the 4-foot.
Stepera on the peel will be a peel and a peel only. So repeat the guard, or
yeah, if you played the guard on the last one, you've got to play it again here. You don't want to be going back and forth in your strategy calls.
So you're saying it's not good to flip flop?
No, it's not. You've committed here. And I still think there's an argument to be made that this might be the way to go. You can get more separation here as long as you get Korey just playing single peels, which just happened. You're going to have a shot to come around later on. Now, you will have to make a decision on Skip's first stone. Do you still throw a guard? Because if you throw the double guards on Skip's first and Korey knows he can't double peel them, does he play something else?
This one is going to over curl on him.
Yeah.
But get to the center line.
A lot of separation. Still, there's a chance for the double and not much risk of jamming it on the one in the 4-foot now. I mean, it could happen, but with the weight they're going to throw, if you come from that angle and jam on the one in the 4-foot, it's still probably spinning out somewhere. You have to be really unfortunate to dead stick it.
So here's the double peel attempt from Stepera.
Really thin on the first one right now.
And it's going to be just the one. Now Ballance is going to come on in.
Yeah, he's going to come on in. You could throw one more guard. The problem is, Korey Dropkin knows how this plays out too. You throw one more guard, if he can't double peel them, he knows you're coming around on the last one, and he may play something else. Now, what are his options? And do you mind if he draws? That's another thing that could be part of this discussion. I think most of what they're talking about is how deep do they want to put this draw. And I think part of it was, so if you come to the back of the 4-foot here, you come top 4-foot, you pretty much know Korey's going to peel the corner guard or the just off center guard. And then where do you put the last one? You straight guard it, leaving the button. If you come to the back, and I don't know if that was part of the discussion, but I saw them gesture to the back. If you come to the back, could you ever talk Korey Dropkin into playing a freeze to it? Because if he freezes to it, you can follow it down again, get to the inside corner, and that might be your best shot to steal.
We'll see how this plays out in the next couple stones. Here's the first for James Ballance in the 9th. Extra end action here from the Saville Sports Center. This needs to find the breaks. Now it takes the line right past the guard. Where is it going to settle? It's going to be full 4 on the tee line.
Well, Korey can see a sliver from the out-turn side. He could try to pick it out. Could simply straight peel the guard. That broom, I think he's going to try to get them all. Again, with the understanding, if you miss the double, you have to roll away. So he'll be throwing the out turn here, and if he's going to miss it, he wants to miss it on the center line side so that his shooter rolls well out of the way. It's just off the nose to get them both. The danger here, though, is where's your shooter end up if you make the double? You'd sure hate to guard the yellow behind the tee line on the other side.
Here's Dropkin with his first. Wheeler trying to bring it over. On the one over the top. Just make the straight peel.
Yeah, that might be better. I'm not so sure that if he doesn't hit that, if he hits that thick enough to catch the second one, I'm not sure that his shooter rolls away.
So now the tighter guard. Got to leave Korey a couple options on the way back. You can just straight draw for it. He could even play a little hit and roll off his own.
He could.
But just had to make a good one here. Force your opponent to make a shot. So you think just touching the 12-foot here?
At the most, probably. You start getting these too close together, and Korey takes a run at the double. Now you probably want it tight enough that you make him think about it. That's always the thing with a shot like this. You're trying to two shots into Korey's head. At least 2, might be 3 actually in this one, because he's got the option to come off his own too.
So James Ballance with his final stone in the extra.
This needs to stop, or it's going to leave a piece of that rock.
It's going to turn out just fine.
Yeah, just the 2 shots for Korey to look at. He's got the draw. Could come off the yellow, but I think more likely, I think you see most guys play the draw here, and he doesn't have to be too tight to the guard even to use that red stone in the tee line as backing. So much late movement here at the Saville Center.
So Korey Dropkin gonna get ready.
That looks to me, Dave, like the ice to come down to the corner of the red more so than the straight draw to the button, I think.
Based on what I've seen so far, I tend to agree with you.
Like if you're trying straight draw to the button, that's just a sliver under 4 feet of ice. I don't think that's enough. So he's playing this as the come down to the red.
Korey Dropkin, final stone of the extra end.
The danger of the call like this is if you try to throw enough weight to make sure you're down to the red and you're a little strong, you won't get the curl either.
On it, right out of his hand. They like the line now. It's all about the weight. needs a piece of the button. Howell and Wheeler. Got to get it there. Got to get it there. It's got to get all the way there if it's going to be a win. Need a piece of the button. No,
Short.
It's short, and it will be a steal of 1 for the win for James Ballance. And they win this game by a score of 5-4.
Yeah, certainly not the way you would have expected that to finish out, the way the last couple of ends went. But for the Ballance team, we talked about it as that 8th end was playing. Sometimes your way to score 2 is to sit 3, and they sat 3, got the bit of a mistake in here. They had one nicely buried on the side of the forefoot, and you have to draw to the button in the 9th. You just never know for sure if the speed's going to be the same down the middle. They weren't panicked about the weight early.
No, they weren't. It looked like they were on it for the line more than anything else off his hand.
Yeah. It just didn't get there at the end.
And that will be a victory for Ballance, and they go 1-0 in their pool, and Dropkin is 0-1. Our next broadcast here on Curling Stadium will be Mahoma Tabata against Corin Brown. Sean Joyce will have the call, and that game's going to be at 2:15 Eastern Time, 12:15 Mountain Time. But for now, for Sean Joyce and Connor Sims on the production, my name's Dave Schmel. I thank you so much for watching. You've tuned in to Curling Stadium.
When curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.